Today sort of kicks off our 9th season here at Newbridge Bank Park. It's hard to believe, and we've had a great run, both on the field and off the field. But in particular, the last 2 years on the field, being the South Atlantic League champions in 2011, and then last year getting beat there in the finals by Asheville. But the beauty of this sport and what we do is we see a lot of folks come through here, and we've had the good fortune of having a lot of great players and coaches to work with. And today I'm going to introduce our manager for this year, who is no stranger to Greensboro. He was our hitting coach in 2008. He played, actually I'll back up a second. George grew up in Puerto Rico. He played collegiately at Troy State University, where he was all-conference infielder and part of a team that was the Division II national champions in 1987. He coached collegiately for almost 10 years, I believe. Isn't that right, George? At the University of Mobile, Texas A&M, and West Florida. And professionally, he started out in Pensacola in 2004. He joined the Marlins in 2007. Was here, as I mentioned, as our hitting coach in 2008. And for the last 3 years, has been manager of the Gulf Coast Marlins. 2 of those 3 years, the Gulf Coast team got to the finals in that league and unfortunately did not pull out the championship. But a lot of our success the last few years has come from players that George had in his tenure there. Perhaps the best fact that I can tell you about George, and a little bit of trivia, is he was the first professional hitting coach of a young man we had here in 2008 who was 18 years old that hit 39 home runs, and we used to know him as Mike Stanton. So, George, we want you to bring back somebody like that this year. And among that, just bring us a lot of great players. But now just introduce Jorge Hernandez to tell you a little bit about this year.
Well, thank you, first of all, for you guys to be here. I know it's the weather is a little crazy out there, but thank you for your time. First of all, I'm, like Don said, I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's where I grew up. I came over here as 18 years old to Laredo, Texas, and played junior college there 2 years. From there, I continued playing baseball at Troy State University, and graduated from there with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in exercise physiology. And I started coaching back in 1992. I went to University of South Alabama Division I school as an assistant coach. Coached there 1 year and became a full-time assistant baseball coach at University of Mobile. From there, I coached there 8 years, and then I moved up to Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi, a Division I school. It was a brand new program. Coached there 2 years. From there, I went to Pensacola, Florida, where I coached a couple of years with the independent league, the Pensacola Pelicans. And like Don said, in 2007, I became a hitting coach for the GCL Gulf Coast for the Florida Marlins back then. And 2008, I had a great opportunity to come to Greensboro, a great place to be, a great organization. The fans are outstanding. The people here is first class. And that's the message that I relate to the players in the last several years. This is the place that you want to come and play baseball, because this is a first-class organization, and the people here love the game. The front office do a tremendous job to make the time they're spent here well worth it. That is a great place, and it's an honor for me to come back here in Greensboro. So, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm so excited, and I can wait until April 1st when we arrive here. So I'm looking forward to continue the winning tradition that we have here in the last couple of years, and hopefully we can put a great team on the field and we can continue the winning tradition that we've done here, and hopefully win another championship, and that's what we are here for. Do you have any questions for me?
George, what were the strengths of your teams in the last couple of years in the Gulf Coast?
Some of the strengths that we have a good quality young men that with a lot of speed. We didn't have guys to hit with a lot of power. I know in 2008 we got, I think we lead the league and home run here. So of course we don't have a Michael Stanton and we didn't have Matt Dominguez, but we still got some good quality players that done well in Jamestown. So a lot of those players they have the good speed. So hopefully.
What's the biggest single difference between that level of baseball and you've seen this level of baseball too as a hitting coach? What's the difference?
Well, the difference is the amount of game that we play. The GCL is 56, 60 game in a year. It's a short season. And here is 140, and it's a marathon. It's just it's a mental. You have to be mental tough to play in this league. It's just not only the 140 game, but also the travel, and it's tough. And they have to get used to this and learn how to play and come and play every day. So, of course, they grind out, they play every day. It's just one day. It's going to be tough for those guys.
I know it's a grind as a player. Is it a grind as a manager too to step up into?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. No doubt. we go to the same ground. I mean, keep up with those guys every day, and of course the travel, which looking back in 2008, I didn't think the travel was that bad. I mean, coming back from Pensacola, Florida, we were the shortest travel was 10 hours to Dallas Fort Worth and 20 hours to El Paso, Texas. 10 hours is nothing, so I didn't think the travel was so bad. So, yeah, I don't think it's that bad. So, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a long season, and those guys have to get used to doing that.
What is it like to have your first single-hand managerial job?
It was great. I mean, it was great. Coming from 2008, and my first manager was 2009, and I enjoyed every minute of it. It's just the development, seeing those guys progressing and getting better, and it's a gratifier at the end of the season. So I enjoy every minute of it. I love it, and hopefully we can continue doing that here in Greensboro. So,
The Hoppers have been dominant the last couple of years. How do you plan to keep that going?
of course, I've been lucky to have some good players. It's been 4 years. I managed 4 years instead of 3, like Don said, but it's 4 years. Three out of those 4 years we made the playoff. My first year in 2009, we lost the championship game and the final game to the Nationals. We made the playoff the following year. We lost 2-1, and in 2011, I believe. Yes, 2011, we lost to the Yankees, and they were loaded. They were have some players. They beat us 3-1 on the final game as well. So a lot of those guys have the playoff experience. They've been there, so hopefully that we can continue doing that here in Greensboro.
Good thing you got coming back this year. You're coming back. You've been here before. You got Blake McKinley coming back with you. You got Frank Moore. All those guys have some experience. I think for a good core group, you guys have a bigger before on the way out, kind of knowing the system as you come together.
Absolutely, it helped. Especially when I've been here 2008. I see how tough the league is. I see the facility here and playing in front of great fans here, and then have McGinley and Moore been here last year. Absolutely, it helped tremendously.
Some of those memories from 2008.
Woo! 2008, it was great memories. Everything about the fans, the games, what Greensboro is all about. The people. Of course, how great players. I mean, you're talking about from Michael Stanton to Matt Dominguez, Ryan Peterson, Ossie Martinez.
You got to see a lot of
So a lot of players, and those guys had a taste of the big league. So we're lucky to have that group in 2008. There were a lot of good players in that team.
You kind of look to want to get to taste that big leagues yourself one day. Some skippers come through and say, I'm a minor league man for life. Want to be in the start to be a teacher, and some guys eventually want to get to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to have a goal in this business. If you don't, you're in the wrong business. Yeah, I would love to be in the big league one day, but I enjoyed every minute at this level. I mean, I love to see the progress that the kids make every day. So I enjoy every minute of it.
What can we watch, Coach? Give us some names, players to watch. Who you prospect?
Players to watch out of GCL, there might be a couple kids. My team and the GCL was very young, a lot of high school kids. So we might see maybe 2-3 players from there. Kobe Copeland is an outfielder, did real well for me in in the GCL. Avery Romero, he was the second rounder. He did okay at the beginning. He got better towards the end. He's a third baseman, second baseman kind of guy. From Jamestown, there was a couple guys that were with me in the GCL. Jesus Solorzano, he's an outfielder. He's the guy who hit in the middle of the lineup. We have Cody Kiefer. He was a college guy from California somewhere. So he's the guy that probably played at this level. Juancito Martinez, he was the guy, he also an outfielder, have a lot of speed, and the guy that can run. Jesus Solorzano as well, he can run. So those are some of the guys that I know those guys will probably top prospect, top players here. The pitching staff, we might have some guys here that repeat this level from last year. We don't know that. I know there's a couple guys in Jamestown that can come here and do well. Jason Mansueta was here. He struggled here, but he did real well in Jamestown, so hopefully he can help us as well. And it will help him already have a taste of this league a couple of years ago. So he's one guy that could probably help us at this level.
How would you describe your managing style? Are you a player's guy?
Oh, I'm a player's guy.
Okay.
I love them all. They're all like my kids. You know, the GCL I have 30-some kids. You know, I love them. The style is just depending what kind of roster we have. I mean, in 2008, if you remember, we didn't do too much bunting or running because we have some power. So, of course, we're not going to have Michael Stanton, and we're not going to have Ryan Peterson back here. I believe Peterson hit 21 home runs. Stanton hit 39. I believe Dominguez hit 17. So, yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. But, of course, it just dictates what kind of roster and club I have. You know, if we, you know, from what I see in Jamestown, we might have some speed, so we might have to play the short game, run, hit and run, things like that.
Coach, I seem to ask this question every year, but how do you balance that fine line between player development and winning? You know, we all know at this level it's about player development, but still it's our competitive nature.
Well, to me, yes. To me, it's just it go hand in hand. Player development is going to be much fun when you're winning, of course. You know, but it's a fine line. Our job is just to develop this kid to become major league players. But when you're winning, it's a lot of fun. You know, and I'm fortunate enough that my 4 years in the GCL, we done well, we winning, and hopefully we can continue that to here to Greensboro. Because a lot of those guys, I had them in the GCL a couple of years ago, so hopefully we'll continue that.